So back to the hub, maybe moving on from the idea of accessible data and information to tools for planners. SCAG has a data set. It's a really rich and valuable data set, which is sometimes referred to as the combined land use for the region, which includes, it's essentially data at the parcel level. There's about 5.1 million records, so all the parcels in the region that's enriched and attributed with a lot of really valuable information related to land use, related to housing. It's a data set that is available through the regional hub. So if you want to look at it kind of more through a data lens, you can explore that data set. But it's also the data set on which a few applications are built. So if you want kind of a more focused experience around some of that data, we have these applications which make working with the data very easy. The first is HELPR. Tom referenced HELPR, or HELPR 2.0. HELPR is actually the part of the RDP that's been around for a long time. It was initially released in late 2020 and updated again in the spring of 2021. This is a tool that's really intended to help local jurisdictions and other stakeholders understand local land use and align that with housing, planning for housing. So typically what we would do here is we would select a jurisdiction, and then we're immediately presented with a land use map for this jurisdiction. It is interactive, so we can zoom in and we can select features and such. But the intent is really to use some of these filters, which were developed in alignment with HCD, to further drill into this data. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because Kevin and Tom and team have done very thorough run-throughs in previous Toolbox Tuesdays of HELPR. But this just is sort of another example of a tool and application that's being made available through the regional data platform. For those of you that have been using HELPR or familiar with the application, as part of the launch of the RDP, not too much has changed, except that the URL has changed. It's now rdp.scag.ca.gov instead of maps.scag.ca.gov. But if you go to the old link, it'll redirect you, so not a problem. But perhaps more interestingly, there's been a few other minor improvements to connect it with other parts of the RDP. The first is an integrated request for technical assistance experience. So if we click this little bell here, we're presented with a request for technical assistance form where you can select the type of request that you're submitting, some details, some contact information, and such. And depending on what sort of request type you select, it may give you different options in the form. And this is, in a sense, a direct connection to the list team that Tom mentioned at the start of the briefing, and allows you to immediately reach out for help. And this is included in all of the applications, as well as through the regional hub and LDX website. So the goal is really to make it as easy as possible to connect with the experts at SCAG who can help out. The other thing I'll just point out here quickly is all of the RDP applications include this app switcher. So when you click the app switcher, it brings up a list of other applications you can easily switch to. That's new to HELPR.